After today's round of snow, we have an even bigger storm set to arrive later on this weekend.
It's a little frustrating, honestly. Feels like nothing's really being done about it.
Supply falls and prices rise for eggs. Find out if there's any relief in sight.
And a Washington judge says no to President Trump's plan to stop federal money for gender-affirming care for young people. Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 5. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
And I'm Whitney Ward. The weather is our top story tonight. Today's snow already creating trouble out there on the highways.
Taking a live look at the scene right now, you can see a massive backup on I-90 in Spokane Valley at this hour. People are being directed off the interstate on Evergreen Road near the Spokane Valley Mall.
WSP says a car lost control because of the weather, then hit the barrier. A second driver stopped to help. That's when they say a third vehicle hit the person who was standing on the freeway to try and help. That person is now in the hospital with life-threatening injuries. WashDOT East and WSP are all on scene. They do expect the road to open back up within the next few minutes.
Well, it has been snowing for most of the day today, and we are tracking even more snow for the weekend.
Our chief meteorologist Jeremy Legoo is joining us now with more on what we can expect tonight and into the weekend.
Well, over the course of the next few hours, it's more about the snow on the ground than anything else. Our snow is winding down, but with temperatures in the mid-20s, all of that snow is not going anywhere. In fact, those roads are going to remain every bit as slick over the next few hours. And for that reason, our winter weather advisories remain in effect through 8 tonight. 8 to 12 inches of snow expected over the Cascades Saturday to Monday, and that snow is headed for us. It's not going to hit us until Saturday night, so it's more about the snow on the ground than anything else over the course of the day tomorrow. It will be nice and warm, so get out and shovel it because you have more on the way. That arrives tomorrow night, and it just persists through the day on Sunday. And it looks like it lasts from Sunday into Monday as well, with yet another wave moving in. It is a big deal. For that reason, we have weather impact alerts in place for Sunday and Monday. But look at your temperatures. Tomorrow, first time we're back up above freezing since all the way back on the 3rd of February. It says snow late, so expect clouds during the day and snow to return after dark and then take us through the rest of the holiday weekend as temperatures climb back above freezing.
All right, sounds good, Jeremy. Thank you very much. A Seattle federal judge's order this morning is now blocking President Trump's ban on gender-affirming care.
That injunction follows a multi-state lawsuit over Trump's executive order. KREM 2's Shannon Mowdy is live now to explain what happens next. Shannon?
Well, this doesn't do away with that executive directive, but it does pause its enforcement while Washington state's lawsuit proceeds. U.S. District Judge Lauren King said she doesn't think Trump's order will withstand constitutional scrutiny. A celebration on the courthouse steps Friday, as Washington Attorney General Nick Brown praised a win in the state's fight against President Trump's gender-affirming care order.
This president of the United States is not above the law.
The president's January 28th executive order cut federal money for medical transitions for people under 19 years old. Trump directed federal insurance programs like Medicaid to not cover puberty blockers, hormone therapy, and surgery. And he ordered the Department of Justice to investigate and punish any hospital or institution providing gender-affirming care.
And what we're seeing from this president is a specific undermining of the DOJ's purpose, a specific directive to no longer do civil rights. And it is upsetting to me personally and professionally.
Attorneys for Trump argued he was simply directing federal agencies to carry out his policy preferences. Washington, with Oregon and Minnesota, sued, calling Trump's directive unconstitutional. Friday's ruling means the executive order can't be enforced for now.
Well, we got an important message here from this judge today about the threats that were being made by the President of the United States to criminalize health care.
Brown urged doctors to get back to work under the injunction's protection.
To continue to provide the medically necessary care for their children.
A judge will hear more arguments on the lawsuit in a couple weeks. Now, this is the second block to Trump's order this week. Thursday, a Maryland judge granted a temporary restraining order, putting the president's directive on hold for at least 2 weeks. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Shannon, thank you very much. Spokane police are looking for a person who shot someone this morning in the Hilliard area. It happened around 7 o'clock in the area of Wabash and Lacey. Officers say they were on scene quickly and found a victim with a gunshot wound.
A person was then taken to the hospital. Police say the incident does not appear to be random, but no arrests have been made yet. If you do have any information about the shooting, police are asking that you please call Crime Check. You can find that number on our website. And one person is in the hospital after another shooting in Post Falls. That
shooting happened along Woodcrest Drive this morning. Police say they arrived quickly and detained the people involved in the shooting. They say the investigation is complex. So far, no arrests have been made. In other news, a Spokane U-Haul owner facing more than $200,000 in fines for knowingly exposing workers to asbestos.
The Department of Labor and Industries says the owner bought a former Kmart in 2019 and started renovations without getting the nearly 60-year-old building tested. When floor tiles started popping up, workers were instructed to just throw them away in regular trash cans and never knew they were handling asbestos. The same owner was cited and fined in 2019 after employees used demolition equipment to remove asbestos-containing flooring from a Kmart in California. Well, if you've been to the grocery store any time recently, you certainly have noticed the price of eggs.
KREM 2's Christian Garza has been trying to crack the case of what's behind the price increase and how local customers are feeling about it.
It's kind of like, maybe I don't need those eggs so much.
A feeling felt by shoppers across the country after seeing the price at the grocery store for what once was a cheap source of protein. According to the CBS News price tracker, nationwide eggs have jumped more than 15% from a year ago, blaming the price increase on the avian flu, which has killed more than 148 million egg-laying birds.
Now, I paid $6 for this carton of a dozen eggs, but I've seen prices as high as $10 for this same product. According to the CBS price tracker, the national average price of a dozen eggs started skyrocketing from $1.46 to $4.95 in just the last 5 years.
That is just crazy.
Spokane resident Peggy Curry says eggs are such an important staple in not just people's diets, but for local organizations who help with food accessibility.
They really need those prices to come down, and our country really needs to make an effort to do that.
Something other shoppers like Rebecca and Sarah agree with.
I just paid $10.99, I think, for 18 eggs of the store brand. So, yeah, it hurts.
He's somewhat of a picky eater, and a lot of the foods that he likes are the ones that skyrocket, like eggs.
This morning, I had a girlfriend go to breakfast, and she said, for that price, I should have gotten caviar this morning. And I said, well, did you have eggs? And she said, yes. And I said, well, you did have caviar then.
So if prices at the store are going up, where does that leave local restaurants?
There's only so much you can do.
Kasten Peterson, one of the owners of the Crimson Door Cafe, says that eggs are one of the main ingredients in all their dishes. But this increase in costs isn't new for them. He says price increases for ingredients is something they've been dealing with since opening their doors.
You can only control what's in front of you, and you navigate with that as best you can. So I don't think it's necessarily something to be too in strife about.
Peterson, along with other restaurant owners in the area that we reached out to, say they work with their food suppliers to make sure they're getting the best deals on ingredients that they can.
We haven't had to make any necessary changes just yet. Does that mean that we may have to make changes? It might. It could potentially, but we're kind of trying to wait to see what happens maybe for the next month before making that decision.
CBS reports that experts expect it to be at least another 3 to 6 months before prices come down. Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
All right, a lot more news still ahead at 5, including a look at one of the busiest places in town on this Valentine's Day.
A new
the
owner
ability to make someone's life happy, to put a smile on their face.
A new owner for Spokane's oldest floral shop. We'll catch up with them coming up.
Also ahead, the Pope is hospitalized today fighting off bronchitis. We've got an update on his condition just ahead.